My name is Tori, and I am a doctor of physical therapy who specializes in pelvic dysfunction, which means that part of what I treat is bowel dysfunction. I work with a lot of women and men that are dealing with constipation, gas, and abdominal bloating. One of the tools that I love to teach is intestinal massage because it's easy, it's effective, and it's something that you can do independently at home. Before I break down how to do it, let me answer why and when/how often to use it. So why use intestinal massage to try to relieve constipation, gas, or abdominal bloating? The answer is we are essentially trying to stimulate something called peristalsis. Peristalsis is the name given to the rhythmic-like contractions of your intestines. If you've ever seen, or if you can imagine what it looks like when a snake eats a mouse and that mouse is kind of working its way through the snake, that's what peristalsis looks like. That's what's going on in your intestines all the time. They're just made out of smooth muscle, so you have no control over them, just like you have no control over your heart or your bladder. But you do have control over your pelvic floor. Plug for future content. Anyway, that peristalsis is that rhythmic contraction of your intestines. It's essentially your intestines propelling food and eventually stool towards your rectum for evacuation, aka so that you can poop. I like to say that we are encouraging intestinal movement. We're encouraging natural intestinal movement with this massage. That's the intention, and that's why we use it. As far as when to use it or how often to use this intestinal massage, it depends on how symptomatic you are. If you're someone who's dealing with constipation, abdominal bloating, and gas a lot, you could use it after every meal. There's no reason that you can't. If you're someone who's dealing with constipation, bloating, and gas less frequently, it's something that you could do in the morning before you start your day, or potentially at night before you go to bed, or you could just use it when you need it. Use it when you're having your symptoms. I think that realistically, thinking about how our days go as humans, if it were me and I was dealing with constipation more frequently, I would try to use it before I started my day in bed, and also in bed before I go to sleep. And then kind of PRN whenever I need it, whenever my symptoms were bad, I would use it. Okay, so let's jump into how to do the massage. How do I perform this massage at home? So different teachers will say different things. There are different techniques. I personally like to follow food. So if I was gonna follow food into the intestines, I would be following my small intestine to the valve that connects my small and large intestine called my ileocecal valve, and then I would follow my full large intestine, which includes my ascending, transverse, and descending colon, which I will show in just a minute. And then the last thing that I would want to stimulate are my rectal valves, which are the valves that essentially connect my large intestine and my rectum. If you have a lotion that you love or an oil that's very relaxing to you, you can absolutely use those on your abdomen. You don't have to use lotion or oil. I don't always, but sometimes I do. Whenever I'm in the clinic, I always use lotion, but at home, if I'm doing this to myself, I don't always use lotion or oil. Whatever you like. So the first thing that we want to stimulate if we are following food is our small intestine. So you can imagine that your small intestine essentially lives right in this space, kind of around the belly button. Now, in order to get to your intestines, you don't need to give yourself a ton of pressure. I don't need you to dig. The amount of pressure that I always recommend is enough pressure to melt butter with your finger pad. So it's not a super mild pressure, but it's also not a super heavy pressure. It's kind of that mild, moderate pressure. So just start stimulating the small intestines with that pressure that's enough pressure to melt butter. What we're gonna do is essentially do some clockwise circles around your belly button. And you can do these for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depends on what kind of time you have. If you're in a crunch for time and you just want to quickly get through everything, then you could do maybe like 15 to 20 of these circles. Small, gentle, clockwise circles around belly button, stimulating that small intestine. Like I said, anywhere between a minute and 3 minutes of this is great. But if you're in a rush, 15, 20 reps is also pretty good. So we're just gently stimulating that small intestine. And let's say that we've done that for 2 or 3 minutes. The next thing that we want to stimulate is the valve between your small intestine and your large intestine. That valve is called your ileocecal valve, and it lives essentially between your belly button and your pokey hip bones. So you can find your pokey hip bones here. Your belly button, that valve is going to be on your right side, kind of in the middle somewhere. So somebody with well-trained hands might actually be able to feel their ileocecal valve, and it might feel kind of like a grape or a dime, but it's okay if you can't really feel it. It's okay to just stimulate the area. So in between belly button and that right pokey hip bone, we're gonna kind of find the middle here-ish, and we're gonna sink down just a smidge. We're gonna go down kind of towards pubic bone, but just a little bit. In this space, what I want you to do is do the same clockwise motions, but now they're really small, gentle clockwise motions. Enough pressure to melt butter. Same thing, you could do 15 to 20 reps. You could do a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Depends on what kind of time you have, but that's the next place that we're gonna stimulate. Small, gentle, enough pressure to melt butter, clockwise circles right at that ileocecal valve. So we've stimulated our small intestine, we've stimulated the valve that connects small intestine to large intestine. The next thing to stimulate is our large intestine. So your large intestine, or your colon, can be broken down into 3 parts. On your right side, you have your ascending colon, which connects to your transverse colon, which essentially lives kind of right under your rib cage. And then you have your descending colon, which kind of goes down the left side. Now, that descending colon does make a really sharp turn and essentially turns 90 degrees, connects with your sacrum, like rides the back of your sacrum, connecting to rectum, to anus, and then out into the world. But if we're going to start by stimulating the large intestine now, we need to start by stimulating the ascending colon. So what that means for me is those upward strokes now. So I'm going to follow my ascending colon by giving it upward strokes towards transverse colon. Some people will call just the intestinal massage ILU, or I love you massage, because the ascending colon makes an I, the transcending colon makes an L, and the transverse colon makes a U. People that are doing this to their babies will sometimes call it ILU, or I love you massage. We can call it colonic or intestinal massage though. Anyway, so I'm stimulating my ascending colon. Same thing, maybe I'm doing 15 to 20 of those upward strokes here. And then I'm gonna connect ascending and transverse. So this would be the L of my ILU. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I'm getting bowel sounds as I kind of move. I just got another one. As I kind of move over my transcending colon, kind of right in midline. Now, if this becomes part of your routine and you find that this massage really helps you, your fingers will get better at being able to tell where something might be stuck. So let's say that I'm doing this massage to myself and I come across an area that feels a little stuck to me, like right here. You can gently press and kind of encourage whatever feels stuck to you to move along. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm just gently kind of pushing down, moving over to the side and coming back up. Gently encouraging what I'm assuming is some air that's pocketed here in my transverse colon to just move, keep moving. So you do the same thing, you're gonna do that L, that ascending transverse connection, 15 to 20 of these, and then you're gonna connect it to your descending colon, that's the U. So you're gonna go ascending, transverse, descending, ascending, transverse, descending. And you're gonna do this 15 to 20 times. Bowel sounds are welcome here. If you're getting little gurglies, little bowel sounds, if it's kind of making you feel like you have to pass gas, that sort of thing, these are all really, really welcomed feelings. After you've done maybe 15 to 20 of those clockwise circles around the belly button to get small intestine, then we went right pokey hip bone and belly button, somewhere in the middle and a little bit towards pubic bone, and we did gentle clockwise circles here at the ileocecal valve. Then we went ascending, maybe 15-20 reps of the ascending strokes, and then we went ascending transverse, maybe 15-20 reps of those, and then ascending transverse and descending, same thing, maybe 15-20 reps of those. The last thing to stimulate would be the rectal valves, which are the valves that connect intestine to rectum. So your pubic bone is that pokey bone that kind of lives right here. If you fall right off of your pubic bone, technically in this space right here, your bladder would live here. And so what you need to do is just give a gentle cup, like my hand kind of looks like this, just like a small lift, a gentle cup. And what you're gonna do is just encourage your bladder out of the way. So I'm just gently encouraging my bladder to kind of move over towards my left side. And then all I'm gonna do are some gentle downward strokes, kind of right in this space. And I'll go over my pants. I'll kind of like shoop, go over my pants here. I'm just going like right to above my pubic bone. I'm doing those gentle downward strokes. So maybe I would do 10-15 reps on this side. And then I'm gonna take my bladder again. I found my pubic bone. I'm making a cup with my hand here. I'm taking bladder, arguably, who lives right on top of pubic bone. If my pubic bone is right here, I'll show you on top of my pants. I'm just kind of cupping right here. I'm just going under my pants to do it. So cupping here, kind of moving bladder out of the way. This time I'm just gently encouraging bladder to move to my right. And then same thing, downward strokes, and I'll go over my pants. I'm kind of going like this towards pubic bone here. Gentle downward strokes, enough pressure to melt butter. Maybe 10-15 reps of these. So in conclusion, to do a full intestinal massage, you might spend 2 to 3 minutes if you've got the time. If you don't have the time, maybe 15 or 20 clockwise circles around your belly button to stimulate your small intestine. In between belly button and pokey hip bone, you're gonna find the middle, come down just a little bit, and you're gonna do gentle clockwise circles around that valve, around that ileocecal valve that connects small and large intestine. 15 to 20 reps. Then you're going ascending colon, upward strokes, 15 to 20 reps. Then you're going transverse colon, so ascending transverse, 15 to 20 reps of these L-shaped movement. And then you're going ascending, transverse, descending, 15 to 20 reps. Then you're gonna kind of find your pubic bone, go right above it. So my fingers ending kind of right here. You're gently gonna move bladder out to the side and stimulate your right rectal valves with maybe 10 or 15 downward strokes here. Find your pubic bone, cup your bladder, encourage it to move to the right so you can get your left rectal valves. Maybe 10-15 downward strokes, and I'm just downward stroking like this. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to comment any questions in the comment section below. Also, if you have any suggestions about a video topic, either surrounding pelvises or bowels more specifically, anything that you're interested in me covering, please also comment that suggestion in the comment section below. I will definitely read it, and I'm very open to suggestions about content. I've also been informed that I should start asking for likes and subscribers at the end of my videos, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. It feels very weird to say that. Finally, if you are having bowel issues yourself, a pelvic physical therapist might be a helpful healthcare provider to have on your team. If you aren't already seeing one, you can check in the description below. I will have a link for a directory that you can use to find a pelvic physical therapist in your area. Okay, thanks again so much for watching. I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.